Hey there everyone. Today we'll be continuing our topic of binomial theorem. We'll be starting off with a question to remind us of what we did last time. Okay then, so here we have a question which is asking us to find the first four terms of this expansion. Basically it is asking us to find the first four terms, basically the NC0, then the NC1, then the NC2, and lastly the NC3 that makes up our four terms. Okay, and this thing, ascending powers of x, basically it is telling us that the powers of x should increase from small to big. Like here, see, last time we did this here, 2, 4, 6. The powers of x were in an ascending order. Same for here, see, 1, 2, 3. Powers of x were increasing in an ascending order. So basically, don't need to worry about it, as we have a positive term, as we have like basically a positive power. So we do not need to worry about ascending power of x. All we need to do is find the first four terms in this expansion. So let us do that. Once again, the first, this is a and this is b. So then I can write 1 power 6 plus 6c1. Alright, c60, then this is 6c1. Now a, which is 1 here. So power of 1 will be 6 minus 1, and b is 3x. So the power, so 3x power will be 1, which is r. Now 6c2 and 1 will be 6 minus 2, and 3x, which is b, will have a whole power of 2, and lastly 6c3 power 1 powered 6 minus 3, 3x whole power 3. See, four terms. First term, second term, third term, and fourth term. Alright, so we have written our four terms. Now then, let us resolve them. This, for anything that power on 1 doesn't matter. So 1 powered anything is always 1, plus 61. 61 gives us 6, as we learned last time, that any C1 will just return the initial answer. And once again, 1 power doesn't matter, so I'll just write this as 1. 3x will remain 3x because it has a power of 1. Now then, 6c2. 6c2, if you plug it into your calculator, will give you 15, and then 1, and then 3x whole square. So this becomes 9x square. Now then, 63. 63 from the calculator gives us 20. 20 into 1 into 3x whole power cube. So then 3 cube is 27 x cube. Alright, now then, to finally resolve this, it gives us 1 plus 18x plus 15 into 9 is 135. So 135 x square plus 20 into 27 is 540. So 540 x cube. And there we go. We have our first four terms once again. The first term, the second term, the third term, and lastly the fourth term. And once again, as you can see, the powers of x is increasing ascending order. See, x power 1, x power 2, x power 3, increasing in an ascending order, small to big. Now then, let us do another part. Okay then, let us do this once again. A is 1, 4x is b. So then, this gives us 1 powered 5 plus 5c1 into a, which is 1. So power 5 minus 1. And then b is 4, negative 4x, not 4x, negative 4x. So this gives us negative 4x power 1, because b has a power r here is 1, plus 5c2 into 1, 5 minus 2 and then minus 4x 2, right? Minus 4x will have a power of 2. Why? Because b always has a power of r here is 2. And then lastly 5c3, a is 1, so 5 minus 3, and b is minus 4x. So now it has a power of 3 cube. So let us resolve this. This becomes 1 plus 5c1 is 5, 1 negative 4x plus 5c2 is 10 into 1 into 4 negative 4x. Now then, to remember that if you square it negative term, it becomes positive. So then this becomes 16x square. And now 5c3, this gives us 10 once again, and then 1, and then negative 4 cube is minus 64. Know that any odd power does not change the sign to positive. It will just remain as is. So this gives us negative 64 x cube. And this is now 1 minus 20x plus 160 x square minus 640 x cube. See, 4 terms. First term, second term, third term, and fourth term. Alright, so this is basically what we did in the last class. We understood the whole premise of the whole premise of binomial basically, and then we did a single question on it, and now we are moving forward. Alright then, to do the second part of this question. Now then, basically this time it is asking us to find the coefficient of x square in the expansion when we multiply both of these. Basically when we multiply the expansion of 1 plus 3 powered 6 and 1 minus 4x powered 5. When you multiply both of their expansions, we need to find the coefficient of x square when you multiply these. So what I need to do is basically multiply this with this. Now then, also what does coefficient mean? Coefficient basically means that a constant number with a variable. So then here you can see that this is x. X is a variable, right? Variable is basically a, you can say, a value that is not constant, it keeps changing, whereas this 18 will never change, right? So this can be called a constant. And now because this constant is with a variable, it can be known as a coefficient. All right, so 18 is a coefficient here. Same for 135. 135 is a coefficient. X square is a variable. 540 is a coefficient. X cube is a variable, right? So what they are asking us that when you multiply these both, you will basically get a single value of x square. And now you need to tell me the coefficient of this x square. All right, so let us do that. Let us say 1 plus 18x plus 135 x square plus 540 x cube, and this, which is 1 minus 20x plus 160 x square minus 640 x cube. Now then we need to notice a few things. It is asking us to find only the coefficient of x square. So I do not need to find a value which has no x, or a value that is only x powered 1 or x cube, right? I only need to care about x squares here, right? I only need to know the x square value. So what I can do is multiply only those values which will give me x square. So as we know, if we multiply this, this one will be multiplied with this whole equation. Same for this 18x, same for this 135x square, same for 540x cube. All these terms will be multiplied this whole equation, right? So instead of doing all that, what I can see here is if I multiply this one with 160 x square, it would give me a value which has an x square in it, right? If I multiply this one with minus 20x, it will not give me an x square. Therefore, I do not need to multiply it with minus 20x. So, I can write 1 into 160 x square, right? No need to multiply anymore because we only care about the x square. Now then, let us see for the 18x. If I multiply this 18x with 1, I will not get an x square. However, if I multiply this 18x with minus 20x, I will get an x square. So that is what I will do. 18x into minus 20x. And once again, if I multiply this 18x with 160 x square, it will give me an x cube, which I do not need. Same goes for 18x with minus 640 x cube. It will give me a power of 4. Now then, this 135x square. If I multiply this 135x square with 1, I will get an x square once again. So 135 x square into 1. Now I cannot multiply this 135 square with any other term, as it will give me a term which is greater than x square. See, if I multiply this 135 x square with minus 20x, it will give me an x cube. If I multiply this 135 x square with 160 x square, it will give me a power of 4. And if I multiply this 135 x square with minus 640 x cube, it will give me a power of 5. Now then, we see 540 x cube. There is no term in this whole equation whom I multiply this 540 x cube, it will give me a x square. Thus, we will not multiply this with any term. And here we end it. Now then, let us resolve this. This becomes 160 x square, and then 18 into minus 20 becomes minus 360 x square, and 135 x square into 1 is 135 x square. Now if we solve this, 160 plus 135 minus 360, this gives us minus 65 x square. Here the coefficient is minus 65. Thus we will write minus 65 as our answer. See, pretty simple. Okay, then here we have another question similar to the one we just did. It is here asking us to find the coefficient of x cube. Now if you notice, x is at the top, so at each r it will basically have a power of r, right? So if I write 4c 1 and this minus x over 2 is b, so the power of x will become 1, as it has a whole power of r, if you remember, right? B has a power of r. So what I can here see is, if I write 4c3, this x, which is minus b, which is b, will have a power of r, aka 3. So this will inertly make it x cube. So then I do not need to expand this whole term. All I can do is directly write 4c3, a which is 5 and b which is negative x over 2. 5 is 4 minus 3 power, and minus x over 2 is 3. So then 4c3 gives us 4, and this gives us 5 powered 1, and this gives us minus x cube over 8. So now I can just multiply this, and say 4 1s are 4 2s are, so this becomes minus 5 over 2 x cube. Therefore the coefficient of x cube is 5 over 2. Right, pretty simple here as well. Or if you really want to, you could just expand this whole term and find the x cube that way. But in my opinion, if you just do it mentally, it's pretty simple, that x will increase positively by 1 2 and 3. So you can just directly write 4c3 and go there. Okay, now then here we have another question, which is asking us to find the first 4 terms when we expand this in descending powers of x. Now then, whenever a question is telling you to find, the expansion in descending power or ascending power of x, you do not need to worry, because the question is designed in such a way that if you just solve this question using the normal method of binomial, it will give you a answer in descending power or ascending power of x, depending on what the question is asking. So you don't need to worry, as I'll just show you here that you can just solve this normally and it will give you in descending powers of x. Let's do it here. So x square minus 2. Okay, so before we move on, there is one thing you need to realize, is that if I bring this x over the top, the power, it currently has a power of 1. So when it goes to the top, this power becomes negative. All right, so basically in fraction, if you like have 1 over x square and you move this x square to the top, it becomes x minus 2. All right, anything that moves from bottom to top changes its sign signature of power. Or you can just say, or same goes from going from numerator to denominator. So if I like wanted to take, basically you had x over 3. All right, so you now needed, you wanted to take this x square at the bottom, so you could just write this as 1 over 3x minus 2. Right, basically if a term changes from numerator to denominator or denominator to numerator, basically its power, the sign of its power changes. Same goes for here. If it had x minus 2, so I could just say this is 1 over x square. All right, because it went from top to the bottom. So we'll do the same here. We'll say minus 2 x power minus 1. All right, we'll just do this. So when we are solving our questions, we have an easier time. Now then, it is once again asking us the first four terms. So NC0, NC1, NC2, and NC3. So A is x squared. So first it has a power of 8 plus 8C1, A, which is x squared. 8 minus 1 is 7. So I'm just going to write 7 directly this time. Now minus 2x power minus 1. This is the whole power of 1 plus 8C2 x squared. 8 minus 2 is 6. I'm just going to delete this because you probably know this by now. And this is minus 2x power minus 1, and this is the whole power of square, plus 8c3 into x square. 8 minus 3 is 5, and minus 2x power minus 1 is 3. Alright, so then now how am I going to solve this? So know that this is multiplying with each other. Alright, this is multiplying with each other. It is not squaring the power. Alright, or it is not like this, it's a power of a power of power. Alright, it is basically doing this, multiplying it with each other. So if you say 2 into 8, this becomes 16. So I can write this as x power 16, and this 8c1 is 8. Same goes for here. 7 into 2 is 14, so x power 14, and this remains the same, 2x minus 1, and then 8c2 is 28. This is 12. 6 2s are 12. Now then, x squaring it, this negative will go away, so this becomes 4x minus 2. Remember, this minus 1 is not squared, this is multiplied with 2, so this becomes minus 2. And lastly, 8c3, this gives us 56, and this becomes 10. 5 into 2, 10, and this becomes minus 8x minus 3. Remember that the odd power does not change the symbol or sign. And lastly, this is x power 16 negative 16. Now then, this 14 and this x minus 1 would give us x power 13. Now then, here 28 into 4 is 112. Now then, 12 minus 2, right? Because these terms are multiplying. So if I add 12 and minus 2, this gives me 10 plus 56. Oh, not plus, minus 56 into 8. This gives me 448, and 10 minus 3 is basically 7. So as you can see here, the powers are going in a descending order. See, 16, then 13, then 10, then 7. It automatically gave us the powers in ascending order. Thus, once again, we did not need to care about all of that descending and ascending. We just had to solve it normally, and it gave us the answer. Now then, it is telling us to find the coefficient of x13 in the expansion of these two. Basically, we multiply the expansions of these two, and we should get an x13. Now then, what we can first do is expand this. right? Because it is pretty simple. So I can just say this gives me x3 plus 1 is basically x3 squared plus 2 into x3. This is 1, so b is 1 plus 1 cube 1 squared. So this gives me x6 plus 2x cube plus 1. Now then, multiplying it with this, x16 minus 16 x13 plus 112 x10 plus, oh sorry, negative 448 x7. Now then, let us multiply only the terms. That will give us x13. Now then, let's see. If I multiply x6 with x16, it will not give me x13. It would rather give me 22. So x is multiplied by 13. Once again, will not give me 13. x6 multiplied by 10. Will it give me 13? No, it will give me 16. However, if I multiply x6 with x7, it will give me 13. So x6 into 448, sorry, negative 448 x7 plus. Now then, let us see with 2x cube. If I multiply x cube with x16, it will not give me 13. If I multiply x3 with x13, it will give me 16. So we don't want that either. x3 with 10 will give me 13. So I can just say 112. So I can just say 2x cube into 112 x10 plus, alright. Now then, if I multiply x3 with x7, once again it would give me not it would give me 10, not 13. And now if I multiply this one with 13, it would give me 13. So I can just say 1 into minus 16 x13. Now then, let's do this. Minus 448 x13 plus 112 into 2. This gives me 224 x13 minus 16 x13. So minus 448 plus 224 negative 16. This gives me minus 240 x13. So then the coefficient is minus 240. That is our answer. Okay, then here we have a new type of question. In this question, we have a new symbol, which is the 3 equals to sign. This is basically called the comparison sign, alright? We basically compare two sides of the equation, but this time we cannot move any one side to the other. Basically cannot shift this a to here or this whole thing to here either, alright? With this, we only compare with this term. I'll show you what I mean by that. So then it is asking us to find the value of a, the value of b, and the value of c. Basically, we will if we solve this, there will be a single constant, and then we will get an x square with a b, and then we'll get an x4 with a c. So basically it is telling us that whatever x square value you get will be the b value, whatever x4 value you get will be c, and whatever single constant value you get will be a when you resolve this. That is why we are calling it comparison, because we compare both sides. Basically it is telling us that these two sides are equal and the terms can be compared to each other. So what I can see here is that all I need to expand to is till 4, so I don't need to go till 5. So all I'm going to do is expand till 5c4. Alright, let us expand 3 plus x plus first. 5c, no sorry, 3 power 5 plus 5c1. A is 3, which is 5 minus 1 powered 4. B is x powered 1 plus 5c2. It gives me 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. B is x, a power of square, plus 5c3 plus into 3 power 5 minus 3, which gives me 2, and then b, which is x, and its power is 3, plus 5c4 into 3, 5 minus 4, 1. This is the power of a, p is x, its power is 4. And then now if I resolve this, this gives me 3 power 5 is 243 plus 5 into 3 power 4, which is 81, and then into x. Now then 5c2 into 10 into 3 power 3, 27 into x square plus 5c3, which is 10, 3 square is 9, x cube plus 5c4, this gives me 5 into 3 into x powered 4. So then this becomes 243 plus 5 into 81. This becomes 405x plus 270 x square plus 90 x cube plus 15 x4. Now then, to expand this, all I need to do is change this sign. Alright, as you can see that there is a negative sign instead of a positive one, so I do not need to like do this whole thing. All I need to do is replace upon basically this x with negative x. So I can just write 243 plus 405 into negative x plus 270 into negative x squared plus 90 minus x cube plus 15 minus x power 4. So then this gives me 243 negative 405 x plus 270 x squared negative 90 x cube plus 15 x power 4. Now then it is asking to add both of these. So then if I add both of these, let me just write both of them on a single side. I can write this as alright. Now to add both of these as they've done it up here. Okay, so 243 plus 243 will give me 480. 405 negative 405 will give me 0, so we don't care about that. Now then 270 plus 270, this gives me 540 x square. Now then 15 plus 15 x4 gives me 30 x4. Right, I didn't care about this because my plus 90 minus 90 is 0. And now it is telling us to compare it with a plus b x square plus c x4. Alright, I've basically written the same thing as I've done there. Now if you can see, the equation on both sides are basically the same. So what I can infer from this is that 480 is a, 540 is b, and 30 is c, because they are the coefficients of x. One is constant, the other is the coefficient of x square, c. The coefficient of x square is b, coefficient of x square is 540. And here the coefficient of x4 is 30, here the coefficient of x4 is c. And because they have given us this symbol, which this means that we can compare both of these equations. So the answer is a is 480, b is 540, and c is 30. Alright, pretty simple, right? Now then, before we end today's lecture, there is one thing which I need to show you, an alternative method of doing this question. Now, once again, as you remember that in this question, we directly found out the x cube, right? Now, we can do the same here. Now, if you notice that this x will increase in an ascending manner, alright? It will just go from x power 1, x power 2, x power 3, x power 4, right? So, what I could have done is direct only found 5c0, 5c2, and 5c4, because the here 0 is r, which this means that there will be no x. Here the r is 2 in 5c2, so this will basically give me x square, and in 5c4 the power of x will be 4 as r is 4. So I can just directly write, when solving this, 3 plus x4 is initially 3 power 5 plus 5c2 into 3 power 5 minus 2, which is 3, into x, which is square, plus 5c4 into 3, 5 minus 1 is 5 minus 4 is 1, and x power 4. See, I could just directly use this r to find direct values. So once again we learned that 3 power 5 is 243, 5c2 gives us 270x square, and this 5c4, this whole thing gives us 15x4. Now once again we could have done the same thing where we would have replaced the x with negative. So 243 plus 270 into negative x square plus 15 negative x power 4. So this once again gives us 243 plus 270 x square plus 15 x 4. Now all we need to do is add these. So 243 plus 270 x square plus 15 x 4 plus 243 plus 270 x square plus 15 x 4. And now I can just add these. So this gives me 480 and then 540 x square and lastly 30 x4. And now we can just compare these with a plus bx square plus cx4. So a is now 480, b is 540, and c is 30. See, much simpler, much shorter than our previous method. So all you need to do is next time like utilize more of your thinking capacity, and like you can do it this way as well. More questions in the next class.